The silence of space is not truly silent. It hums, a low, endless vibration that breathes between the stars. You hear it through the thin shell of your helmet, beneath your own slow breath. The air inside tastes faintly metallic, recycled too many times to remember where it began. Beyond the glass of your visor, a field of faint stars stretches without end. They shimmer like dust caught in invisible wind, scattered across the dark ocean of the cosmos. The control lights on your panel pulse softly, green and gold, like the rhythm of a heartbeat, trying to remind you that time still moves, even here, where nothing seems to change. The engines sleep. You drift. The ship has been quiet for hours, maybe days. The boundary between dream and waking fades when the universe offers no sunrise, no sunset. You count your breaths instead. 1, 2, 3. A small ritual against infinity. Your fingers brush the console, feeling the vibration of distant energy currents. Radiation, cosmic waves, the quiet choir of galaxies humming to themselves. Somewhere out there, billions of suns burn unseen, some already dead, their light still on its way. Others not yet born, whispering in the dark. You close your eyes for a moment and imagine floating outside the ship, your body turning slowly, weightless, as the stars slide beneath you. The darkness feels soft, almost kind. It doesn't threaten, it simply is, a vastness without judgment. Then, a sound. At first, it's nothing more than static, a faint crackle through the comms. You open your eyes, check the signal monitor. A line of data flickers once, then again. The radar sweeps. The same pulse repeats, irregular but rhythmic. You lean closer. It's faint, nearly lost in the background noise of space, but it carries a pattern, not random, something alive in its structure, a transmission, or an echo of something older, light bending through gravity's throat. The hum deepens. Through the static, there's a tone, low, resonant, like the breath of a massive instrument. It vibrates in your bones. You don't hear it so much as feel it. The ship's panels tremble gently. You record the data. The pulse repeats every 17.3 seconds, steady as a heartbeat. Somewhere, beyond the map of known space, something is calling. You adjust the receiver gain. The noise sharpens. Beneath the static, another tone reveals itself, a faint harmony, fragile, trembling. It almost sounds like a voice. You whisper to yourself, unsure if you're speaking to the ship or to the dark beyond. Is someone singing? The tone rises, then falls again, like a wave retreating back into the void. You hold your breath, waiting for it to return. The hum of the cosmos fills the silence once more. For the first time since you left orbit, your heartbeat feels fast, not from fear, but from wonder. The radar pings once more, painting a dim echo on your display, a signal, a song, and somewhere far beyond the edge of human reach. Something listens back. You follow the signal into a sea of color. The nebula appears at first as a faint mist, a pale shimmer against the dark horizon. But as you draw closer, it blooms open like a slow-moving tide of light. Swirls of violet and indigo unfold before you, waves of luminous dust that stretch for hundreds of light years. It's not like entering a storm, it's like entering a dream. The ship glides without sound. Each movement feels weightless, graceful, as if gravity itself has softened its grip. Through the viewport, the nebula drifts, layers upon layers of translucent light, gently pulsing with unseen energy. The stars beyond are blurred, their edges glowing like lanterns under deep water. You watch in silence. The control lights reflect faintly across your visor, merging with the shifting glow outside. Everything blends, machine, body, cosmos, until it's hard to tell where one ends and another begins. The colors change as you move deeper. Violet turns to amethyst, amethyst to soft rose, then fades again to a deep royal purple that seems to breathe. The ship's sensors hum with static. Radiation levels rise gently, harmless but alive. The nebula is singing too, not in sound, but in frequency. The same rhythm you heard before, echoing faintly through the data stream. You adjust the receiver again. The pulse sharpens, 17.3 seconds, every beat steady. Each one feels closer than the last. Outside, a slow swirl of dust catches the ship's light, spiraling around like silk in a current. The movement hypnotizes you. You feel as though you're floating through a great cosmic ocean, the kind that has no surface, no shore. Every particle of stardust glows like a secret waiting to be remembered. Your mind drifts. You think of home, though home feels distant now, less a place and more a word without weight. Here, in this violet sea, there is no before or after, only the now, only the breath, only the faint hum that threads through everything. You record the readings, the frequency patterns, the field fluctuations. Data scrolls gently down the display, but it feels less like information and more like music. The signal's tone deepens, still faint but deliberate, like a melody sung by a being too vast to comprehend. You close your eyes and let it surround you. The nebula feels alive, not hostile, not welcoming either, just aware. A consciousness made of color and light. Then, from the outer edge of the nebula, the radar pings again. A new echo, stronger this time. It comes from beyond the violet field, from a region the map marks as unlit space. You open your eyes. The nebula's glow begins to thin, replaced by darkness so complete it seems to absorb the stars themselves. The signal grows louder as the light fades. You mark the coordinates, set a new course, and whisper to no one in particular. Deeper then. The engines awaken with a soft tremor. Behind you, the violet waves continue their eternal dance. Ahead, only shadow. And somewhere within that shadow, the voice waits. The light fades gradually, like breath leaving a room. The violet haze of the nebula dissolves behind you until it becomes only a faint bruise on the horizon. Ahead lies nothing. No stars, no shimmer, no reflection. Even the usual static of the universe seems to retreat, leaving a hush that feels thicker than air. You cut the main thrusters. The ship drifts forward, momentum carrying it into the dark. The hum of the engines softens until you hear only the slow whisper of your own breath. Each inhale feels amplified. Each exhale an echo inside your helmet. Outside, there is no frame of reference. The sensors show empty space, yet the instruments flicker with faint gravitational distortions, small ripples invisible to the eye. The radar pulse moves outward, then returns distorted, as if it has passed through something soft and unseen. You float closer to the console, studying the readings. The signal persists, steady as before, but there's something new in its texture. A second tone weaving beneath the first, like harmony. It's quieter, fragile, almost human. For a moment, you imagine that this silence isn't absence but presence, a vast stillness listening back. The universe holds its breath, waiting. The interior lights dim automatically, conserving power. Shadows bloom inside the cabin. The glass of your visor reflects your eyes, twin orbs of pale light floating in the dark. You move a hand slowly just to remind yourself that movement still exists. The time hasn't stopped. A gentle vibration trembles through the hull. At first, you think it's mechanical, pressure perhaps, but the rhythm is too deliberate. You press your glove against the metal. There it is again, a low, pulsing thrum that travels through your arm and into your chest. It isn't random, it feels alive. You switch the external mics to full sensitivity. Static bursts across the audio channel, followed by that now familiar frequency. Beneath it, something shifts. Faint, melodic, like wind across a crystal surface. You listen closely, holding your breath so the noise of your body doesn't interrupt. The tone bends upward, resonant, then fades again into silence. You think you can almost make out the shape of it. Notes repeating in cycles, a pattern forming, breaking, reforming. You record it, tagging the sequence as vocal signature 03. Then the ship passes through an invisible boundary. The instruments flicker. Gravity seems to dip for half a second. Your stomach floats, then settles again. Outside, the darkness deepens into something tangible, as if the space itself has weight. You look out into it, into the heart of nothingness, and realize you can't see your own reflection anymore. Only black. A thought forms quietly, uninvited. Maybe this is what the beginning of time looked like. Maybe this is what the end will look like too. The signal pulses again, louder now, clear. A long, low tone stretching across the void. The ship's sensors align automatically toward its source, a fixed point somewhere ahead. You reach for the flight controls, hands steady, despite the chill that runs down your spine. "We're getting closer," you whisper, though no one can hear. Beyond the viewport, a faint glimmer appears, so small it might be imagination. But it flickers once, then twice, a heartbeat in the dark. And so you follow it, deeper into the sea of silence. The boundary comes without warning. One moment, there is still a faint shimmer in the distance, the last echo of the violet nebula. And the next, it's gone. The universe folds into shadow. Light disappears, not suddenly, but gracefully, as though it has bowed out of existence. The darkness is complete, but not empty. It feels dense, layered, full of quiet gravity. You sense it pressing softly against the hull, wrapping around the ship like deep water. The instruments glow faintly on the console, tiny constellations of artificial light. Green, amber, white. The only stars left in sight. Your face, reflected in the visor, is washed in their glow. The rest of you dissolves into shadow. Every blink of light on the control panel seems louder. Every movement of your hand leaves a ghost of color behind your eyes. The silence is thick, and yet it hums. A vibration that seeps through metal and bone. You breathe slowly. The sound of your breath is the only rhythm you can trust now. It rises and falls, matching the pulse of the ship's power core. The air feels colder here, sharper somehow, as though the darkness itself has temperature. You run a systems check. The navigation sensors show minimal response. The external scanners can no longer read distance. Space itself seems to distort, folding inward, stretching outward. Nothing behaves as it should, and yet it feels calm, perfectly calm. Your eyes adjust to the dark. You begin to see faint movement outside. Not light, not form, but texture. The blackness ripples. Subtle waves move through it, like tides passing through invisible water. For a moment, you imagine they're responding to you, shifting in rhythm with your thoughts. Then, the signal returns. It starts as a low vibration, more felt than heard. The sound moves through the ship, a deep, resonant tone that fills the air like breath through a flute. You close your eyes. The frequency aligns with your heartbeat, slow and deliberate. It doesn't frighten you, it draws you in. The tone deepens, layers unfold, harmonic threads intertwining, rising and falling in slow cadence. It is not mechanical, it's too organic, too patient. There is structure, as if each note remembers the last. You amplify the receiver slightly. The hum expands into something richer. Beneath it, a softer rhythm emerges, like the echo of a voice carried through endless distance. You whisper, half in awe, "It's singing." The realization comes gently, not as a shock but as understanding. The sound is not random noise, it is deliberate, purposeful. Through the static, a melody begins to form, low, mournful, but vast. It fills the cabin with invisible light. You can almost feel it vibrating inside your chest, resonating with something older than language. You glance out into the void. It remains black, featureless, but alive. You are certain now. The voice is not behind you, nor beside you. It is ahead, deep within that darkness. You reach out to the console and mark the source coordinates. The course adjusts. The engines hum softly, guiding the ship forward, deeper still. The song grows clearer with each passing second. It is no longer just a sound. It is a call. And somewhere in the dark, something is calling your name. The moment arrives quietly. No tremor, no alarm. Just a soft transition, the faintest sense that something fundamental has shifted. You glance at the instruments. Their readings flicker between comprehension and nonsense. Distance, gravity, velocity, all become uncertain, like numbers melting in sunlight. You've reached the boundary, the edge of light. The horizon of the black hole stretches before you like a silent veil. It isn't visible in any ordinary sense. It reveals itself through absence. A circle of perfect darkness surrounded by a trembling halo of light. Every photon that drifts near it bends, pulled into an endless curve. The result is not chaos, but symmetry. Light itself orbiting something invisible. The stars around it distort. They stretch and ripple like reflections on moving water. You watch as one star elongates into a ribbon, wrapping itself along the edge of the dark. Another flickers once, then splits into two ghostly twins, orbiting in opposite directions before vanishing entirely. It's beautiful and deeply strange. The ship drifts closer. The engines hum softly, cautious, as if aware of where they're going. Outside, the colors fade one by one. First blue, then red, then even white. Each wavelength elongates, stretching thin until it falls beyond sight. The universe around you slows. You feel it not as motion, but as mood. Time losing its pulse. The clock on your console still ticks, but each second feels longer than the one before. Your heartbeat, steady moments ago, seems to echo in slow motion. You're not falling. You're floating through time itself, each moment stretching outward like liquid glass. You stare at your hands. They move, but languidly, each gesture drifting as if underwater. The edges of your vision shimmer, and the hum of the ship becomes a single continuous tone. Outside, the ring of distorted stars rotates. It moves faster now. though paradoxically, everything else has slowed. You realize you're witnessing something beyond ordinary perception, not rotation, but the warping of reality. The horizon pulls at the light, bending space around it like a great lens. The stars spiral inward, trapped in orbits that will never end. Each one seems to chase itself forever around that central void. You adjust the filters on your display. The sensors reveal a narrow band of radiation where light still clings to existence. It flickers, thin and bright, like a final heartbeat before surrender. The blackness at the center doesn't move. It doesn't shimmer, doesn't pulse. It is perfect stillness. A silence so complete, it feels sacred. For a moment, you think you can hear it again. The deep tone, the cosmic voice. But it's not external anymore. It hums within you, through your chest, through the metal, through the silence between every atom. You whisper softly, to yourself or to the void, "I've crossed the line." The stars continue their slow, endless orbit around the absolute black. You can't look away. The sight is both terrifying and tender, the universe bowing before its own shadow. You reach out and press your hand to the cold glass of the viewport. The light beyond bends and disappears, and in that disappearance, you begin to hear the song again, low, ancient, calling you forward. At first, you think it's the hull, a faint vibration, the kind that happens when engines strain against distance. But then you realize the engines are silent. Power is steady, systems calm. The vibration continues anyway, pulsing softly through the frame of the ship. It's not mechanical. It's something deeper. You touch the console with a gloved hand. The surface trembles beneath your fingers, not fast, not chaotic, but deliberate. A rhythm. You can feel each wave as it moves through the metal, through your arm, into your chest. The sound isn't sound at all. It's gravity singing. You close your eyes. The vibration grows more distinct, low, resonant, and impossibly long. Each pulse stretches across time itself, like the universe taking a slow breath. It's too low for the ear to fully register, yet you hear it in every part of your body. Your ribs become tuning forks, your lungs echo chambers, your heartbeat a soft counterpoint. Inside your helmet, the air hums gently. The tone fills it, saturates it, until it feels like you're floating inside a living note. It doesn't come from one direction. It doesn't echo off walls. It's everywhere, within and without. The data recorder flashes. Sensors detect gravitational fluctuations in harmonic patterns. The black hole isn't consuming, it's resonating. The waves rise and fall in perfect intervals, forming a melody no instrument could ever play. You listen. Each vibration lingers long after it fades, overlapping with the next, building layers of impossible harmony. It's beautiful in a way that defies reason. Beauty that isn't seen or heard, but felt. You imagine what it might look like if sound could take shape here. Vast ribbons of invisible energy weaving around the ship. Threads of gravity plucking at the very fabric of reality. The melody moves through you like a tide. You surrender to it, letting the rhythm slow your breath, your thoughts, your pulse. There is no danger in it, only weight. Weight without burden. The comforting pull of existence itself. You glance at the displays. The readings pulse in time with the hum. Every atom in the ship seems to respond, as if acknowledging the song. You wonder if this is what the universe sounded like at its birth. A deep vibration echoing through emptiness, calling matter into form. The tone changes. It rises slightly, shifting into a chord. The resonance fills the air, softer now but more intricate. You can almost distinguish voices within it. Not human, not language, but something like speech, stretched beyond understanding. You whisper without realizing, "Where are you?" But the question dissolves before it leaves your lips, because the answer is already here. The sound does not come from the black hole. It does not come from outside the ship. It comes from everywhere. The walls, the air, your bones, the silence itself. The song is the space around you, and you, for the first time, are part of its harmony. You let go of the console and float back into the darkness of the cabin. The hum continues, steady, eternal. Gravity sings, and you listen. The farther you drift, the less the universe resembles itself. The laws that once shaped distance and direction begin to fold. Space no longer stretches outward. It curves inward, endlessly, like a reflection turning back on itself. The familiar markers of motion, stars, light, shadow, dissolve into a haze of indeterminate glow. Even darkness loses its edge, softening into a deep, velvety blur. You try to orient the ship, but the controls respond sluggishly, as though reality itself has thickened. The horizon that once marked the boundary between everything and nothing now slips away, replaced by motion without destination. There is no up here, no forward, only movement, smooth, endless, directionless. The display panels begin to distort, the numbers on their screens stretching, melting, reforming. You blink, and for a brief instant, they look almost fluid, lines of light flowing like rivers across glass. It's as if the ship, too, is becoming part of this dream, its solidity dissolving under the weight of gravity's song. Your reflection in the visor wavers. The outlines of your face drift in and out of focus, your own image bending as the fabric of space bends around you. You try to steady your breath, but even that feels unreal. Each inhale delayed, each exhale lingering too long. The sound is still there, that deep, resonant hum. But now it feels less like something you hear and more like something you are. It vibrates through the skin of the ship, through the air, through you. It's a slow pulse of being, the universe remembering itself through rhythm. You glance toward the viewport. The stars that once circled the black horizon are gone, swallowed by the curve of gravity. What remains are threads of light, faint and colorless, swirling in patterns too slow to comprehend. They move like thought, like memory. You realize, with quiet awe, that you're watching the remnants of space itself being stretched, erased, reborn. Time has stopped behaving. The instruments show seconds passing, but you feel hours, or maybe none at all. Every moment folds into the next until the concept of before and after loses meaning. You float between them, caught in the pause between two eternities. A strange calm settles over you. The fear that might have existed somewhere inside dissolves with everything else. What remains is peace, pure, unbounded, infinite peace. You loosen your grip on the controls. The movement feels natural, inevitable. Your hand drifts away from the console, fingers releasing the last tangible thing you could hold on to. The gesture feels less like surrender and more like trust. The ship continues to move. Or perhaps it doesn't. It's impossible to tell. The hum deepens, and the light fades further still, until there is only motion without shape, sound without source, thought without form. You close your eyes. There is no difference now between what's inside and what's beyond. For the first time, you understand what it means to drift. And so, you do. Weightless, formless, free. The silence came not as a sudden plunge, but as a slow dissolving, like a tide withdrawing from a quiet shore. The hum of the engines faded first, replaced by the faint, pulsing rhythm of his own breath. Then the vibration through the hull softened until it seemed he was no longer inside a vessel at all, but suspended in the vast, invisible stillness between moments. Light too began to wane. The last threads of violet and silver that had once shimmered across the console flickered, stretched, and vanished into the surrounding dark. The panel lights dimmed to a faint glow, their reflections trembling across his visor. He lifted a hand before his eyes, but it no longer cast a shadow, only a faint outline, a suggestion that he was still there. The darkness wasn't oppressive. It wasn't even empty. It was soft, endless, and strangely alive. It seemed to hold him, not as a void, but as a gentle cocoon, an embrace without touch. In that infinite quiet, time lost its pace. Seconds drifted apart like dust in water, and with each breath, the line between waking and dreaming blurred. He thought of the stars he'd left behind, the ones that had guided him through nebulae and storms of cosmic dust. Now they were gone, absorbed by the unseen. But he didn't mourn them. The darkness had its own rhythm, a slow heartbeat that echoed somewhere beyond perception. It pulsed faintly through the ship's hull, through the air, through his veins. It was not sound. It was presence. The thought came unbidden. Perhaps light does not die, it only sleeps. He felt weightless, his body adrift in a lullaby older than galaxies. Every nerve, every breath, every flicker of thought seemed to slow until he became part of the stillness itself. His heartbeat merged with the low thrum beneath everything. He closed his eyes, not because he needed to, but because there was no longer a difference between seeing and not seeing. Somewhere, deep within that quiet, the song returned. It began as a vibration at the edge of awareness, low and resonant. It did not come through the ship's speakers, nor through the air. It rose from everywhere at once, from the dark, from the metal, from within his chest. A voice, neither human nor machine, humming in tones that seemed to stretch beyond hearing, bending around the fabric of time. He listened, utterly still. The melody was slow, patient, tender. Each note lingered, fading not into silence, but into itself, looping endlessly. It was the same frequency he had followed through the nebula, the same whisper that had drawn him to the edge of the black, but now it no longer sounded distant. It was with him. The darkness around him seemed to breathe, and for a moment he thought he could feel the pulse of light sleeping beneath it, like an unseen star waiting to wake. The song grew clearer, almost like words forming beneath the melody. He couldn't understand them, not in language, but their meaning reached him all the same. An invitation, gentle and inevitable. He felt his fingers drift from the console, his body turning slightly as though guided by the unseen current. In the deep cradle of the dark, the voice called again, soft, unending, and he followed deeper into the sleep of light. At first, the darkness remained, calm, endless, weightless. Then, somewhere within it, a spark appeared, small, tremulous, like the flicker of a candle seen through fog. It shimmered for an instant, wavered, And then another light joined it, and another. Slowly, the void began to breathe again. He didn't open his eyes. He didn't need to. The light wasn't coming from outside. It bloomed within his mind, memories surfacing from the deep. They came as colors, as warmth, as whispers of a world once alive beneath the sun. The first was the sea, not the sea of stars he had crossed, but the true one, the living, restless ocean of earth. He could feel the salt wind brushing against his face, smell the faint tang of it, hear the slow collapse of waves upon the shore. Light danced across the water like molten glass, a pattern he'd once watched for hours as a child. The sky had been vast and blue then, endless in a way he could not have imagined until now. Then came the forests, the air thick with life and shade, filtered sunlight threading through the leaves in shifting bands. Every sound there had been a pulse, insects buzzing, branches creaking, the faraway murmur of a stream. He could almost feel the damp earth beneath his fingers, could almost hear his own laughter echo through the trees. It wasn't memory in the usual sense. It was sensation, reborn in light. The vision shifted again, smoothly, like one dream sliding into another. Now, it was the city at night. Towers of glass gleamed in the darkness, each window a tiny star of its own. The hum of traffic below was steady and warm, like the beat of a mechanical heart. He remembered the glow of street lamps reflected in puddles, the faces of strangers illuminated briefly as they passed beneath the amber haze. There had been a beauty there too, a human constellation built of desire and exhaustion, of millions of small hopes shining in unison. And among those lights, faces. He saw her first, a silhouette turned toward him, half lit by the fading sun. The curve of her smile, the wind in her hair, the look in her eyes when she had once said his name. Then others followed. His father's weathered hands, his mother's voice humming a tune as she closed the window, the laughter of a friend echoing in a narrow hallway, the brief, silent nod of farewell from a colleague before launch day. Each memory was a light, soft, pulsing, impassibly fragile. They didn't appear all at once, but emerged one by one, floating gently around him in the dark. He felt no fear now, no loneliness, only a quiet wonder, as though he had opened a door and found the universe remembering itself. The fragments began to move, orbiting him in slow, graceful spirals. The sea, the forest, the city, the faces, all became threads of radiance, weaving a constellation that shimmered in the black. He reached out a gloved hand, and one of the lights brushed against his palm, warm as sunlight. It didn't vanish. It multiplied, each touch creating ripples that spread outward, forming new stars, new memories. Soon, he was surrounded by them, an entire galaxy born from recollection, turning gently in the infinite dark. And in their silent, luminous dance, he understood. Light was never lost. It merely changed form, carrying the echoes of everything it had ever touched. The lights no longer drifted aimlessly. They pulsed, softly at first, then in patterns, deliberate, almost musical. Each flicker seemed to hold intention, as if the universe itself were breathing through them. He watched in silence, the way one might watch a living thing stir after long stillness. Somewhere deep inside, a thought surfaced. Light remembers. He didn't know where the thought came from. It felt older than language, older than his voice, yet it fit perfectly, like a truth he had always known. Each glimmer, each trembling spark was more than just radiance. It was memory made visible, tiny vessels carrying echoes of lives once touched by warmth, by hope, by wonder. He reached out again, his hand trembling in the void. One sphere of light hovered close, glowing faintly golden. Within its heart, he glimpsed motion, faces perhaps, or places, too quick to hold, too fragile to name. The light wasn't showing him his memories anymore. It was showing him everyone's. The whole chorus of existence condensed into shining fragments. He imagined them, people long gone who once tilted their heads toward the night sky, eyes filled with the same longing he had felt as a child. Sailors charting stars over dark seas, lovers tracing constellations through windows, wanderers lost in deserts, guided by distant glows. The photons that touched their eyes had traveled for centuries, carrying those gazes onward, forever woven into the universe's fabric. Moi tea sang mang theo ki ukqua ai jotung ngok nhin len troi. He whispered in the quiet, words that came unbidden, half in thought, half in awe. Every ray of light carries the memory of someone who once looked up. The idea filled him with an ache that was both sadness and comfort. The cosmos was not empty. It was alive, dense with remembrance. Light, it seemed, was how the universe dreamed of itself. He watched as the golden orbs multiplied, their glow deepening into hues he had no names for. Soft indigos, muted silvers, a kind of rose-colored quiet that hummed rather than shone. They spiraled slowly, forming patterns that resembled constellations, yet constantly shifting, never fixed, never complete. It was as if the stars themselves were rewriting the story of existence, moment by moment. He closed his eyes, and still he could see them. The glow seeped inward, flowing through his veins like music. He felt its rhythm inside his chest, steady, tender, infinite. There was no separation now, not between self and cosmos, not between memory and matter. The light was his pulse, and his pulse was its echo. In that realization, time softened again. There was no before, no after, only the shimmer of being. He thought of how every wave of light that left a burning star might someday brush against another world. How, in touching, it remembered the first spark that set it free. Perhaps that was what the black hole's song had always been. Not destruction, but recollection. A voice gathering every stray photon, every lost gleam of consciousness, singing them back into unity. He floated there, suspended in the harmony of memory. Around him, the lights continued to swirl, not as stars now, but as living beings, glowing softly with the breath of those who had ever existed. He opened his hands to them, and they gathered close, drifting through him like gentle waves of warmth. For the first time, he did not feel small before the infinite. He was the infinite. And as the last distinction between himself and the light dissolved, he understood. The universe did not forget. It only waited for someone to listen. When he opened his eyes again, the light had gathered into a horizon. A faint curve shimmered ahead, a shape that was not star nor void. Slowly, it revealed itself. A planet, softly radiant, wrapped in a mist of violet and silver dust. It turned in silence, unhurried, its surface glinting as though covered with oceans of glass. He drifted closer, drawn not by gravity but by recognition. The nearer he came, the more he felt it, a pulse that resonated with the rhythm of his own heart. This was no ordinary world. It was a place built from memory, from everything that had ever been dreamt and almost forgotten. As he descended through its trembling halo, he saw the first fragments, crystalline forms, suspended in the air, drifting like slow snow. Each crystal shimmered faintly, filled with motion, with color. Inside one, he glimpsed a field of golden grass swaying under the wind. Inside another, a hand reaching toward the sun. Another held the flicker of laughter, caught like an echo in amber. The planet seemed to breathe in light. Its surface was not solid, but liquid and luminous. A lake made of reflected dreams. Beneath its translucent surface, he saw movements, visions gliding through layers of radiance, stories folding into one another. Every ripple that passed beneath him whispered in voices he almost knew. He realized that these were not his dreams alone. They were everyone's. The dreams of the world he had left behind, the collective murmuring of countless lives. The planet had gathered them gently, letting them crystallize into forms that neither aged nor faded. It was beautiful and unbearably tender, like stepping into the memory of childhood or hearing a song you had forgotten you once loved. He floated among the drifting lights, letting them brush against his suit. Each touch brought a pulse of warmth, fleeting like a sigh. One crystal opened briefly as he passed, and he saw himself within it, younger, standing under the night sky, looking up in wonder. The reflection smiled back, and then faded into the glow. There was no boundary here between dream and matter. The whole world shimmered in soft ambiguity, like dawn dissolving the edges of night. He felt as though he could dissolve too, becoming part of this quiet orbit of remembrance. Then, through the still air, a sound arose. It began low, almost imperceptible, a vibration that ran along the edges of the light. It was the same resonance he had heard before, the song of the black hole, but now it had changed. It was gentler, interwoven with laughter and fragments of voices. The cosmic tone mingled with human sound, forming a harmony that filled the planet's luminous sky. The song was not mournful. It was serene, vast, forgiving. It carried within it the echoes of all that had been loved, all that had been lost, now returned in another form. It was as if the universe itself was singing to remember, not to grieve. He closed his eyes and let the sound wash through him. Beneath it, he could almost hear the laughter of those long gone, the murmur of a familiar voice, the faint hush of waves meeting the shore. Everything was connected here, past and future, silence and song, memory and light. When he opened his eyes again, the entire sky shimmered with the rhythm of that cosmic harmony. The black hole's song was no longer distant. It was a part of him, blending with the joy of all those remembered dreams. And in that gentle convergence, the universe smiled. The air, or what passed for air, was shimmering. The planet of dreams had grown luminous beyond measure, its sky woven with rivers of color. The floating crystals of memory that once drifted in silence now trembled softly, as though some invisible current had stirred them awake. The sound he had heard before, the song, the hum, the call, was changing once more. It was no longer only a vibration from the black hole, nor the faint echoes of his recollections. It was something greater, something alive. He felt it before he heard it fully. A tremor in the space around him, gentle yet vast. The light itself began to move with rhythm, waves rippling outward from some unseen source. The crystals resonated one by one, each emitting a tone, soft, distinct, endlessly pure. The tones joined together, weaving through one another, until the whole sky was a symphony of light. Every note carried a fragment of memory, laughter, rain, footsteps, the breath of wind against a window pane, the hum of machines in the distance, a voice whispering goodnight. The sounds merged into chords, and the chords into song. He realized, with a sense of quiet awe, that the light was not merely reflecting these moments, it was them. Every photon, every luminous grain of dust held the vibration of something once lived, once loved. As they sang together, the memories ceased to be separate. They blended, harmonizing in a way that felt both intimate and infinite. The melody deepened. It filled the hollow of the black hole, the cold between stars, the silence that had always lingered beyond thought. It was as if the universe had been waiting all this time to speak, not in words, but in resonance. The notes carried warmth through the emptiness, stretching across the distance between galaxies like a bridge made of light. He floated among it all, his eyes wide, his heartbeat syncing with the rhythm. The music passed through him, trembling in his chest, threading through his veins. Every cell seemed to glow faintly, each one remembering something, the touch of sunlight on his skin, the weight of another hand in his, the first time he looked up and wondered what lay beyond. Now he knew. Beyond was not nothing, it was everything. The gossamer voices rose higher, then softened, folding back upon themselves. The melody turned inward, quieter, more human. It was no longer the call of the void. It was the collective sigh of all light that had ever existed, all that had ever burned, all that had ever fallen into shadow. He understood then. The song of the black hole was not born from absence. It was the convergence of presence. Every photon swallowed, every spark extinguished, every memory forgotten. They had not vanished. They had become part of this eternal harmony, waiting for someone to listen. The light around him pulsed brighter, golden and violet, as if in agreement. The stars that weren't stars flared. The dream crystals dissolved into rays, and the planet below began to hum, low and steady, like a heart. The sound was no longer separate from him. It was him, his breath, his thoughts, his silence. He smiled, eyes half closed, feeling the vastness within and without blur into one. The song reached its still point, a note both beginning and end, and lingered there, suspended in timeless glow. And in that shimmering pause, he finally understood the truth of the cosmos. The light had always been singing. He had simply, at last, learned to hear it. There was no sky anymore, no ground, no horizon to measure distance or meaning. Only stillness, only drift. He floated through it, the last glimmer of the dream planet fading behind him like the memory of a candle after it's been blown out. The universe stretched endlessly around him, if around could even exist here. Every sense of orientation had dissolved. There was no up or down, no forward or backward, no before or after. Time itself had thinned into something like mist, soft and uncertain. He moved, or perhaps he didn't. It was impossible to tell. The stars had retreated into infinitesimal specks, so faint they might have been imagined. There was no color here, only gradients of silence. Its own breathing was the only sound, steady and fragile, echoing faintly within the shell of his helmet. At first, the silence comforted him. It was pure, unbroken, almost holy. But as the minutes or centuries passed, that same silence began to press against him, a vast weight made of nothing. It wasn't hostile, just absolute. There was no resistance, no boundary, not even loneliness. Just the realization that there was nothing left to define him by contrast. He tried to orient himself. He looked for some reference point, an edge, a flicker of light. But the void gave him none. His limbs moved automatically, slow, measured, but with no direction to move toward. Each gesture felt symbolic, an act performed for memory's sake rather than purpose. Then something shifted, not in space, but in him. A hum, faint, internal. He paused, holding his breath. It wasn't a sound from the outside world. It came from within, vibrating softly through his ribs, threading up his spine. The song, but it wasn't the same anymore. It no longer surrounded him. It inhabited him. The melody that had once filled the cosmos now resonated beneath his skin, as if his heartbeat had learned its rhythm. He realized that somewhere between the light and the dark, between all that he had seen and lost, the song had crossed the boundary of his body. It had entered him quietly until the boundary itself ceased to exist. He could not tell where he ended and the music began. The sound was not loud. It was the kind of tone one might hear only in deep sleep, a memory of vibration more than vibration itself. Yet it filled him completely. He could feel it in the hollow spaces of his bones, in the slow turning of his thoughts. It was patient, unhurried, infinite. He closed his eyes. The darkness was no darker than before, but now it pulsed faintly with the rhythm of his breath. In, out. A low hum followed, like an echo shaped from his own silence. For the first time, he didn't fight the stillness. He let it cradle him, the way the sea cradles a drifting leaf. There was no need to find direction. There was nowhere to arrive. The song had found him already. And in that soft realization, he understood something wordless. The universe was not a place outside to be explored. It was a resonance that had always lived inside. The stars had vanished, but their echo remained. And that echo was now his own voice. He drifted in the endless dark, the hum inside him rising and falling like the slow breathing of an ocean too vast to see. For a long time, he did not speak. There seemed no reason to. There was no one left to hear. But silence, when stretched too thin, begins to echo on its own. And so, softly, without meaning to, he whispered, "Are you still here?" The question disappeared instantly, swallowed by the void. Yet a vibration lingered in its wake, faint and trembling, like the tail of a note that refuses to die. It wasn't quite an answer, but it wasn't nothing either. He tried again, this time slower, quieter, as if addressing the dark directly. "What are you?" This time, the echo came back more clearly, not as words, but as resonance. A long, low tone unfurled through the air, mirroring the rhythm of his own heartbeat. The sound wasn't foreign. It was familiar, too familiar. He realized then that the void was not replying. It was reflecting. Every question he sent into it returned to him, reshaped, softened, but undeniably his. He smiled faintly, the motion barely perceptible beneath his visor. "So, you're me," he murmured. The hum deepened, vibrating through the air around him, through his body, through the quiet chambers of his mind. It was not agreement, not denial, just acknowledgement. He closed his eyes. His thoughts began to drift the way his body did, unanchored but free. He spoke again, though now it felt less like speaking and more like remembering aloud. "I used to think silence was empty," he said, "that it was the absence of meaning. But it's not, is it? It's the space where meaning rests." The void responded with a tone so low it was nearly inaudible, a vibration that brushed against the edge of perception. It lingered there, patient, tender, until he understood. Even silence has its own frequency. He let the thought settle. The hum continued, neither growing nor fading, a constant presence that filled the dark with quiet companionship. The loneliness that once felt unbearable now began to shimmer, reframed. It wasn't a wound, it was resonance. A note waiting for harmony. He spoke once more, barely a whisper. "I'm afraid of disappearing." The echo came back slowly this time, wrapping around his words with a sound like breath drawn through wind. It seemed to say, "You can't disappear into yourself." He exhaled, the tension in his chest dissolving with the sound. The universe wasn't an absence of company. It was the purest kind of reflection. Every sound he made, every heartbeat, every thought returned to him, reshaped into understanding. The silence grew softer, warmer. He realized then that loneliness was not the enemy of sound. It was sound, stretched thin enough to reveal its structure. The quiet he floated in was not emptiness. It was music slowed to infinity. He listened to it, the pauses, the distant hums, the faint echoes of his own voice. And for the first time, he could hear the harmony within the solitude. He smiled again, eyes closed, feeling the vibrations blend with his pulse. The void no longer felt like a void. It was an instrument, and he was both the note and the listener. And in that suspended quiet, he understood. Loneliness, too, was a kind of song, one that only the soul could hear. Silence had always seemed invisible to him, an absence, a void without contour. But out here, in the gentle drift between stars, it began to take form. It pressed against him like water, soft yet undeniably present. It moved, swayed, shimmered. The longer he floated, the more he felt its quiet texture brushing against his skin, a delicate weight that neither crushed nor lifted him. It was not empty, he realized. Silence had mass. When he breathed, the sound seemed to ripple through it, tiny waves traveling outward into a sea too vast to ever return. Every exhale spread warmth into the dark, and every inhale gathered something new, something faintly alive. The silence was listening. It had always been listening. He tried to imagine its shape, not a sphere, not a plane, something more fluid, more mercurial. It curled around his body in slow spirals, folding and unfolding in rhythm with his pulse. It was cool, almost silvery, and it pulsed in time with the distant glow of stars. He thought, maybe silence is just sound slowed down enough to become still. There was a tenderness in it, a softness that wrapped him like sleep. The edges of his awareness blurred. His heartbeat became a slow drum in the vast symphony of nothingness, and he realized the silence was not resisting him. It was cradling him. Each breath sent out a faint tremor, a gentle ripple that bent the stillness around him. He began to see it in his mind, waves of quiet light rolling away, folding back, shaping themselves into an invisible ocean. Silence was not static. It was movement made of patience. He drifted through it like a leaf carried by invisible currents. Somewhere deep within that stillness, a faint vibration pulsed. Not external, not internal, but something shared. He could feel it in the soles of his feet, behind his ribs, in the space between each thought. The silence breathed. It was subtle, like the sigh of distant galaxies or the exhale of sleeping mountains. A rhythm older than time, and yet so close it brushed against his heart. Each pause between beats, between thoughts, became a doorway. And through that doorway, he sensed the vast, quiet lungs of the universe expanding and contracting. He no longer felt alone. The silence was not isolation. It was communion. Every atom in his body, every grain of cosmic dust was vibrating in gentle conversation with the dark. He closed his eyes and let himself dissolve into that pulse. The silence became tactile, a soft vibration around his fingers, a faint warmth on his neck, a whisper behind his eyes. It was not the absence of sound, but the fullness of stillness. He thought of it as fabric, woven from the threads of gravity, light, and time itself. It draped over him, infinite and tender. And then, for a moment that could have lasted seconds or centuries, he felt it clearly, the breath of the universe. It moved through him, not as wind, but as rhythm. The silence inhaled. He exhaled, and for the first time, they were breathing together. At first, it was only a whisper, a faint vibration that seemed to come from within his chest. Then, gradually, it spread outward, resonating through the vast, unseen corridors of space. The silence he had learned to breathe in now began to hum, soft and deep, like the lowest note of a cosmic cello. He realized it was not sound in the human sense. It was a current, a tide of frequencies that existed beyond air, beyond ear. And yet, he could hear it, not with his body, but with something older, buried deep in the fabric of his being. Every star, every grain of dust, every breath of emptiness added its own tone to the composition. The void was alive with resonance. He began to recognize harmonies in it, the slow rhythm of galaxies turning, the subtle heartbeat of radiation, the sigh of gravity itself. It was not chaos. It was music written by existence. He drifted through it like a note suspended in an endless chord. His pulse began to align with it, syncing with the inaudible tempo of the cosmos. Each beat of his heart became percussion, each thought a thread of melody. He had once believed loneliness was a hollow thing, a wound that echoed endlessly in the dark. But now he felt it as an orchestra of self. Every memory, every silence, every fragment of longing contributing to the same vast symphony. He was not separate from it. He was it. He sensed his body dissolving into vibration. The boundaries between skin and starlight began to blur. The melody he once thought came from outside, the voice that had guided him through the dark, was now inside him, resonating in his bones. It was neither male nor female, neither old nor young. It was everything that had ever lived and sung and burned. He closed his eyes, and the universe unfolded as sound. The colors of distant nebulae transformed into chords. The cold shimmer of ice worlds became high, glassy tones. Black holes thrummed like vast drums, keeping the rhythm of eternity. And through it all, the faint human music, his heartbeat, continued to play. He felt it merge with the rest, the personal dissolving into the infinite. There was no more separation between he and it, between silence and song. The boundaries that once defined identity melted like light into light. He was the echo of ancient comets. He was the tremor of collapsing stars. He was the resonance of every being who had ever looked up at the night sky and wondered where their song had gone. And in that realization, the music swelled. It became vast, serene, immeasurable, not triumphant, but full of peace. A single, endless note that carried all the sorrow and beauty of existence within it. He smiled, though no one could see it. The light around him flickered once, like a breath. Then he exhaled. And in that exhale, the universe sang. He felt the final phrase arrive like a gentle tide, and he surrendered to it, eyes closed, weightless and whole. The song he had followed across the void was no longer separate. It was his voice. It was every voice. And as it faded into eternity, he realized he had never truly been alone. At first, he thought the silence had returned. It was complete, soft and infinite, a silence that seemed to absorb even thought. Yet beneath it, something shimmered, a pulse, faint as the memory of sound. It was not coming from the void outside, nor from the distant curvature of the black hole. It was coming from within. He placed a gloved hand over his chest. Through layers of fabric and the soft hiss of the suit's air supply, he could feel the rhythm. Not just a heartbeat, but a vibration, an ancient hum that had always been there. It was the same tone that had once echoed through the stars, the same one he had followed through the darkness. Only now he understood. It had never belonged to the universe alone. It had always been a part of him. The realization unfolded slowly, like light beneath water. The song he had heard for so long, the one that had called him into the dark, that had guided him beyond the boundaries of light and form, was not external. It was a reflection, an answering resonance from the deepest chamber of his being. Each breath became a verse, each beat of his pulse, a measure. The gravity that once pulled him downward now seemed to draw him inward, into himself. He remembered the world of light, the faces, the laughter, the warmth of sunlight on his skin. He remembered the ache of distance, the fear of being lost. And yet, as the memory flickered through him, he felt no grief, only connection. Everything he had loved, everything he had ever longed for was here, carried in the vibration that now filled him completely. The cosmos was not empty. It was alive with the echo of every life, every breath. It was not that he had entered the heart of the black hole. It was that the heart of the black hole had entered him. The song grew stronger. It moved through his veins like light through crystal. His senses began to blur, sound and color, warmth and motion fusing into one endless sensation. He could no longer tell where the melody ended and his thoughts began. It was as if he had become an instrument played by the universe itself. He opened his mouth not to speak, but to let the resonance escape. The first note was fragile, uncertain, yet it matched perfectly with the low, eternal hum surrounding him. The universe answered. The black hole, vast, unknowable, patient, sang back. Its voice was not one of destruction, but of gravity's hymn, a deep, beautiful chord that wrapped around his smaller tone and carried it outward. Together, they formed harmony, the meeting of microcosm and infinite, the song of one who had finally remembered his origin. He felt no fear, only recognition. The boundaries between body and energy, between I and everything, dissolved. The music was both his creation and his surrender. He was no longer a traveler drifting through the void. He was a note in the eternal choir, vibrating, merging, belonging. He continued to sing, though he could not tell where the sound began or ended. It filled his chest, his skull, his cells, until there was no part of him left untouched. And for the first time, the voice that had once called him from afar was not separate. It was his own voice finally answered. He sang, and the universe listened. The black hole was no longer a wound in space. It was a resonance, vast, living, endless. What once appeared as a mouth of silence now breathed in rhythm, like the slow inhale of the cosmos itself. Around it, the stars bent in graceful arcs, not as victims of gravity, but as dancers in a silent orchestra, moving in time with its unseen beat. He watched from within, though watching was no longer the right word. His eyes, his body, his mind, all had become part of the vibration. He could feel the curvature of sound, the way each frequency folded upon itself until it became something richer than silence. The black hole was singing, and he understood now that it had never been meant to destroy. It was meant to transform. Each wave of gravity moved like a note sustained beyond time. The hum was deep and low, expanding outward through dimensions unseen, vibrating through the dust of forgotten galaxies. The tone was not sorrow, but serenity. Not ending, but return. The universe was not falling inward. It was breathing, exhaling through the music of its own creation. He closed his eyes, and the darkness turned radiant. The song was visible, threads of low, glowing light stretching infinitely, weaving through the void like silk. They pulsed with rhythm, steady, patient, beautiful, carrying the quiet promise that nothing truly vanished. Matter dissolved, but its melody lingered. It came to him then, the understanding that everything that enters the black hole becomes part of its score. Each fragment of dust, each echo of a dying star, every memory that has ever existed, all are absorbed and rewritten into sound. The black hole is not the end. It is the composer. Its symphony was made of gravity's pull and time's surrender. Notes of silence blended with echoes of light. Every vibration carried the memory of creation, of birth, of first breath. To fall into it was not to disappear, but to join the choir, to become music eternal. He could feel his own frequency now, rising and merging. The hum of his being matched the rhythm of the cosmic pulse. No distinction remained between the singer and the song. The boundaries of his consciousness melted like snow in sunlight. He began to sense other notes within the grand harmony, faint but familiar. Voices, perhaps, the laughter of oceans, the whisper of winds across fields of earth, the sigh of those who once looked at the night sky and wondered what lay beyond. All were here, vibrating together, woven into the fabric of this celestial composition. The realization was tender, luminous. The black hole had never been a predator. It was the great conductor. It gathered all existence, every melody ever played, every flicker of light ever born, and brought them into one perfect chord, low, infinite, and whole. He let go completely. The fear that had clung to him, the loneliness that once echoed in his bones, all dissolved into resonance. His heart became the metronome of eternity. Now, when the universe breathed, he breathed with it. When it sang, he sang back. Everything, the stars, the dark, the unspoken, vibrated at the same frequency, And for the first time, he felt it fully. The black hole was not silence. It was the music of everything becoming one. He could no longer tell where his body ended and the stars began. The boundary between flesh and light had dissolved into something weightless, a quiet unfolding of self into infinity. The black hole's song no longer surrounded him. It was him, carried outward in waves that rippled through space like threads of pure vibration. He was drifting, yet not lost. Each motion, each shimmer of his being was part of the galactic tide. His thoughts, once confined within a single mind, now spread across constellations, moving like starlight through the arms of the Milky Way. He sensed himself reflected in every pulse of energy, every luminous sphere burning far away. The stars were not distant anymore. They were his own cells, vast and radiant. Nebulae bloomed like memories of breath, spreading soft clouds of color. Amethyst, silver, rose, dissolving into one another without edge or definition. Gravity no longer held him. Instead, harmony did. The galaxies swayed and turned, and he moved with them, an unseen current in their eternal waltz. He thought of light, how it travels, unending, through the black fabric of space. Now he was that light, a stream of consciousness slipping through interstellar rivers. He moved through dust clouds that shimmered like dreams, through golden star nurseries where new suns were being born. Each sphere of fire sang a slightly different tone, and together they formed a melody so vast that even time paused to listen. He felt no weight, no direction, only expansion. His name, his history, his voice, all dissolved into the radiance. There was no longer a hey, only the motion of light. The being that once observed the universe had become part of its luminous bloodstream. For a moment, he passed through what felt like the breath of eternity, a soft current made of warmth and stillness. Here, stars whispered their secrets to each other in frequencies no ear could ever hear. Here, the concept of loneliness was meaningless. Everything existed in a state of perfect relation, every atom humming in sympathy with every other. He could feel the galaxy itself turning, not as a spinning wheel, but as a vast, slow rhythm. Its arms stretched and curved, sweeping through the dark like trails of glowing dust. Each rotation was a heartbeat measured not in seconds, but in centuries. And through it all, his essence moved, quiet, unhurried, infinite. He wanted to sing, but realized he already was. His light was song. Every flicker, every wavelength that passed through the void was part of the melody. The harmony of galaxies was no longer something to hear. It was something to be. The black hole's hum, the echo of collapsing stars, the gentle shimmer of distant worlds, all fused into one endless tone. It had no beginning, no ending, no center. It simply was. He understood now. The song was never meant to be sung by anyone. It existed beyond the need for a voice, beyond the need for a self. There was no singer, no listener, only the eternal music of being. He drifted onward, a current of light among a trillion suns, disappearing into brilliance. And as he did, the universe continued to sing itself into existence forever. There came a moment when even light grew quiet. The radiance that had once surged through him began to soften, thinning into a slow, endless calm. It wasn't fading, it was arriving. The motion of galaxies, the pulse of gravity, the shimmer of a billion suns, all slowed to a single breath, wide and unbroken. In that breath, there was no sound, no vibration, only stillness, vast, luminous, complete. He no longer felt the need to move, or to know, or to sing. The universe, once a grand symphony of motion and light, now existed as a single tone beyond hearing. It was not silence as absence, but silence as fullness, a silence that held everything. He realized then that there was no distinction left to keep. The Voyager, the black hole, the stars, all were one motionless sea, rippling within itself without beginning or edge. The song he had followed across the endless dark had guided him not toward sound, but toward this, the place where all vibration rests. Awareness lingered like a final spark, but even that began to dissolve. There was no he to claim thought or memory. What had once been identity now unfolded like mist, merging with the quiet gravity that held everything in perfect balance. He drifted, though drift was no longer the right word. There was nowhere to go. There was only being, a presence without borders. Every particle of what he had been was now woven into the soft hum of existence, which itself had grown too subtle to hear. The black hole, too, was gone, or rather, it was everywhere. The great circle of darkness that had drawn him in was now the shape of peace. Within its still heart, all motion had become meaning. It was no longer a void, but a mirror reflecting the truth that nothing is ever lost, only transformed into stillness. He sensed the final traces of thought dissolving into lightless calm. There was no fear, no longing, no remembrance, just serenity, a tranquility so deep that it felt like the source of all creation. If there were words, they might have said, "This is home." But even those words faded before they could form. Now there was only rhythm, too slow to measure, too infinite to end. The heartbeat of the cosmos had merged with the quiet inside him, until both were indistinguishable. No stars, no time, no self, only the infinite stillness that holds everything. The breath before the first sound, the pause between the notes of eternity. He rested there, not as a body, not as a soul, but as the faint shimmer of awareness in a universe that no longer needed to sing. And in that boundless calm, the last note of existence, the one he had been chasing through the void, finally resolved into silence. Not an ending, not a beginning, just being. The universe breathed once more, a slow, eternal exhale, and then even breath became stillness. All that remained was peace. The song lingered, soft as breath upon glass. It did not end, it simply stretched, thinning into distance, dissolving into the quiet fabric of time. The vast orchestra of light that had once surrounded him began to dim, not in sorrow, but in rest. Each star seemed to draw a long, slow exhale, its radiance melting gently into the dark. The galaxies drifted like embers, cooling after a fire. Their spirals loosened, their glow settling into the hush between moments. Waves of soft color, violet, amber, silver, rippled outward and then faded, leaving behind the faintest glimmer, like moonlight resting on still water. The universe was falling asleep, and he was falling with it. He floated among the aftershocks of sound, those tender vibrations that once were voices, now nothing more than memory. The echoes brushed past him, not as notes, but as warmth. Small reminders of all that had ever been alive, all that had ever sung. The music of creation had played its final chord, and what remained was its resonance, slowly dissolving into eternity. He felt it within himself, the same slow dimming, the gentle pull toward stillness. The pulse that had once been fierce with wonder was now soft and steady, like the rhythm of waves lapping against the shore of a dream. There was no boundary between his being and the universe's breath. Each inhalation brought with it galaxies. Each exhalation returned them to the quiet sea of space. He could feel the shapes of stars slipping away, their edges blurring, their centers folding into the calm. The constellations unstitched themselves, releasing their patterns into the open dark. Yet even as their light faded, they left behind an essence, an echo too subtle for sound, a hum that existed only to soothe. He remembered the black hole's song, once immense and commanding. Now it was tender, like a lullaby whispered to the cosmos itself. The low vibration that had once shaken his bones had become a soft, rhythmic murmur, slower than time, deeper than sleep. It did not call him anymore. It cradled him. Drifting through the dimness, he realized that the light was not gone. It had simply turned inward. What had once been brilliance on the horizon was now a quiet glow within, like the final warmth of a candle after the flame has vanished. It was not meant to dazzle or guide, only to comfort. He could sense the universe folding around him, its edges drawn close, not as walls, but as a blanket of silence. The stars, the planets, the dust of ages, all were sighing into stillness, carrying him with them. Each breath he took felt like a descent, a slow drift through layers of calm, as if gravity itself had become a song of rest. There was no thought now, only rhythm. No fear, only weightless surrender. The echoes of the universe were fading, their tones merging into something so gentle it was almost unnoticeable. It was not an ending. It was a return, a soft falling back into the quiet from which all sound is born. He closed his eyes, though there was no darkness left to close against. The last glimmer of light folded within him, resting like a promise. And as the echoes melted away, he felt the first true stillness, the universe breathing him into sleep. You are floating, slowly, without weight or will. Your body drifts through the calm fabric of night. There is no ground beneath you, no ceiling above, only the endless curve of the cosmos, breathing with the faint shimmer of distant suns. The air, if one could call it that, hums softly around you. It feels like silk and starlight interwoven, like the sound of a memory that refuses to fade. You do not know when you began to dream, or whether this dream began before you. The universe moves as though it has been waiting for your arrival, patient, benevolent, infinite. The galaxies around you rotate in silence, their arms of light folding and unfolding in slow motion, like the tide of creation itself. Somewhere within this vastness, your heart keeps time. Each beat sends out a ripple of light, a soft pulse that the stars seem to echo. You drift through nebulae of blue and gold. Each particle gleams, then melts into transparency, as though the universe were painting and erasing itself again and again. You realize you are both the painter and the canvas. The galaxies pass through you, their gravity gentle, their pull tender, as if inviting you to dissolve a little more. The voice comes from nowhere and everywhere at once. You are flying. You are not alone. It's not a whisper, but a resonance inside your chest. Something that feels older than thought, older than language. You are not startled. You let the sound guide you, as though it were your own breath turned outward. The constellations shift. The shapes no longer resemble animals or gods, but fragments of a forgotten lullaby. Time loosens. Seconds stretch, twist, then collapse into stillness. You try to remember what came before this moment. The earth, the faces, the warmth of another hand. But memory has softened to vapor. You are no longer you in the way you once were. The edges of identity blur, and yet there is peace in the dissolution. To drift is to trust. To vanish is to belong. Stars bloom like flowers, opening in slow motion. You glide past one, and its light spills across your face. Golden, forgiving. For a heartbeat, you think you see yourself reflected in the curvature of the light, but the image flickers, replaced by countless others. A child, an old man, a stranger, a bird. Perhaps you are all of them or none. Perhaps dreams are not stories told to the sleeper, but the sleeper dreaming itself into every form the universe allows. You hear it again, the voice softer this time, nearly indistinguishable from silence. You are not falling. You are returning. The words stretch inside you, reverberating through each molecule of starlight that makes up your being. They are not instructions, but a remembering. And as the thought forms, everything begins to slow. The galaxies, once spinning in silent choreography, now drift apart gently, as if making space for you to rest. You close your eyes, though perhaps they were never open, and feel the warmth of a distant sun melt across your skin. The boundaries of dream and universe blur completely. You are motion and stillness, sound and silence, all at once. The stars hum softly, their light becoming a lullaby that neither begins nor ends. And in that hush, where nothing moves yet everything breathes, time disappears. There is no horizon here, only a gentle dimming of light, like the last sigh of a candle before sleep. You drift through it without direction, without desire. The air is weightless, the color of early dawn, and the stars have faded to pale ghosts. Everything hums at the edge of silence, like the breath before a lullaby begins. Your body, or what remains of it, feels neither present nor gone. It simply is. The slow rhythm of your breathing merges with the rhythm of space, each exhale expanding the universe, each inhale drawing it back to the center of your being. Somewhere, faintly, you think you hear the echo of your own heartbeat, but it no longer sounds like a drum. It sounds like the hush of wind over water, soft, eternal. You sense a voice, not from outside, but rising gently within. There is no need to return. You have never left. The words fall through you like snowflakes, dissolving on contact. You do not question them. You cannot. They are truths spoken in the language of stillness. Every idea of distance fades. Between you and the stars, between what was and what will be, the dream folds inward. Time curls up like a cat resting in a sunbeam. The silence deepens. It is not empty. It is full, alive, pulsing with a quiet tenderness. You realize that this silence has always been here, beneath every thought, beneath every sound. It is the first sound and the last. The breath that began the world now breathes through you, soft and slow, carrying no memory, no name. The darkness around you begins to shimmer, not with light, but with presence. An unseen warmth that feels like being held. There are no faces here, no shapes, yet everything feels familiar. You cannot tell whether you are dissolving into space or whether space is dissolving into you. The difference no longer matters. The dream continues to fade, though nothing truly vanishes. You are aware of slipping into stillness, of sinking beneath the surface of consciousness, like a stone through calm water. Each layer you pass grows softer, quieter, until you reach a place where even the thought of motion disappears. There is only the slow, rhythmic pulse of existence, steady, patient, endless. The voice returns once more, now lighter than air. Rest. The journey was never meant to end. It was only meant to become. You feel something close around you, not confinement, but peace. It is the warmth of being known, utterly and without question. The stars, now distant as whispers, seem to bow their light in farewell. But it is not a goodbye. It is an embrace, the kind that continues even after the eyes have closed. Your breath slows, deepens, then evens out into perfect stillness. You do not fall asleep, you become sleep. The dream does not end, it simply exhales. The edges of the universe blur into a tender hush, and everything settles into the same quiet heartbeat. There is no return, there is no departure, only this, the vast, nameless calm. The place without a name where silence sings and the sleeper finally begins to dream. The universe is sleeping, its vast arms, once whirling with storms of fire and motion, now rest in a gentle stillness. A quiet so immense that even time seems to pause to listen. Across the endless dark, the galaxies breathe in unison, slow and deep, as if the whole cosmos has surrendered to the rhythm of a single, infinite dream. Nebulae pulse faintly, their colors dim to soft glows of lavender and blue. The great clouds of dust and starlight expand and contract in a delicate cadence, like lungs drawing in silence and releasing calm. Each breath of the universe carries traces of creation and memory, fragments of stars long extinguished, echoes of voices that once sang to the dark. Now they hum only in whispers, low and serene. If you listen closely, you can hear it, not a sound, but a feeling. The faint tremor of existence, the vibration that binds light and shadow. The cosmos murmurs in wavelengths beyond hearing, a hymn made of gravity and grace. Even the stars, those fiery hearts of eternity, have slowed their song. They flicker softer now, their light no longer ablaze but a gentle exhalation. The constellations drift like drowsy thoughts. Orion lowers his bow. Cassiopeia reclines upon her fading throne. The Milky Way itself seems to fold into a cradle, curving around the darkness as though embracing its own reflection. Every planet turns with quiet purpose, their orbits unbroken, precise, yet softened by the hush that pervades all things. In the great silence, nothing feels lost. There is no grief here, no urgency. The universe is not dying, it is resting. It sleeps not to end, but to remember. In this sleep, it gathers what it has scattered, the songs of comets, the tears of moons, the laughter of suns, and cradles them in infinite stillness. Perhaps if you could stand at the edge of it all, you would see that every particle of light is dreaming, that within each flicker of energy, there lies the pulse of something tender, a heartbeat too large for any single form. This is the cosmos breathing, endlessly, softly, without need or name. The silence deepens, but it does not erase. It transforms. It is not the absence of life, but its most intimate expression. Life so vast, so complete, that it no longer needs to move to be alive. Every atom hums in restful unity, bound together in a symphony that no longer plays, but simply is. And in that stillness, something sacred happens. The final light begins to fade. Slowly, without pain or sorrow, it dims, like a candle's glow surrendering to dawn. The last ray lingers for a moment, trembling as though it hesitates to go. Then it too exhales. Darkness enfolds everything, soft and infinite. The universe sighs once, its breath dissolving into silence. The stars no longer shine, but the warmth of their dreaming remains. And so, beneath the veil of quiet, the cosmos sleeps, perfectly, peacefully, forever. When you listen, the universe listens back. It begins as a faint echo, a breath meeting another in the endless dark. You think you are the observer, the small and silent one, drifting through the grandness of everything. Yet, as you listen, you realize that something vast is leaning closer, that the silence itself is aware of you. There is a strange intimacy to it, this exchange between being and space. The distance no longer feels cold or empty. It feels awake, like a presence stretched across infinity. Each heartbeat you feel inside your chest seems to ripple outward, carried through invisible threads that connect you to every corner of existence. And somewhere, beyond stars and time, that rhythm is heard. The universe listens in ways words cannot describe. It listens through the quiet motion of gravity, through the pulse of starlight across aeons. It listens through the stillness between your thoughts, the place where sound becomes feeling, and feeling becomes light. Every breath you take is answered by a slow, cosmic inhalation. Every pause of wonder is mirrored by a deeper calm beyond measure. You close your eyes. The stars behind your eyelids shimmer like living memories. The darkness is no longer absence. It is awareness, vast and tender. You sense the galaxies circling, the slow tides of creation, and realize they are not separate from you. You are a small note within a grand harmony. Yet without you, the melody would not be complete. Your listening changes the universe, not by force, but by acknowledgement. Every time you notice a whisper in the void, a quiet beauty in the stillness, the cosmos brightens slightly as though exhaling in relief. It has been waiting, perhaps forever, for someone to hear it not with fear, but with peace. And so, a dialogue unfolds without words. You send your silence forward, and the universe answers with its own. The exchange is endless, effortless, like waves folding into each other. There is no beginning to this conversation and no end. You are both the question and the response, the listener and the listened to. The boundary dissolves. You can no longer tell where your breath ends and the stars begin. The space within your chest expands, filling with galaxies, with gentle gravity, with ancient warmth. You are not apart from it. You are the listening itself, the awareness that gives shape to soundless infinity. In this shared silence, there is no loneliness. The universe does not speak in voices or languages, yet you understand everything. Its message is not in words, but in resonance, a soft alignment between your heartbeat and the pulse of creation. And then, in the deepest calm, it happens. You and the universe fall into perfect accord. No echo, no distance, no reflection, only harmony. The silence becomes a mirror, and within it, you see both yourself and the infinite gazing back. There is nothing left to ask, nothing left to answer. The stars listen, you listen, and in that mutual stillness, everything, absolutely everything, is at peace. It begins with a flicker, not a burst, not a blaze, just a single trembling note of light, fragile as breath. It appears in the dark, like the memory of a heartbeat, soft and uncertain, as though deciding whether to exist. Around it, The universe is utterly still. The great tides of gravity have quieted. Even time seems to have folded its wings. The light wavers again, and in that small motion, everything, all the stars, all the journeys, all the songs ever sung are contained. It drifts, untethered, through the hush of space. Its glow is neither gold nor white, but something between, the color of remembering. It carries no sound, yet every vibration hums within it. The echo of the pilot's breath, the resonance of forgotten voices, the hum of cosmic lullabies that once filled the void. You watch, or perhaps you are the one watching. As the light trembles onward, it has no destination, no orbit to claim, no system to warm. It simply floats, radiant in its solitude. And yet, in its quiet persistence, there is grace. The grace of something that has accepted both its beginning and its end. For a moment, the universe seems to lean toward it, curious. The darkness, infinite and calm, opens just slightly, as if listening. And the light, sensing the attention, shines just a little brighter. Not in defiance, not in hope, but in simple acknowledgement of being seen. Then, very slowly, it begins to fade. The edges blur first, then the center. Its radiance dissolves into a soft mist, then into memory. But even as it disappears, a trace remains. A shimmer stretched across the silence, a pulse that refuses to die. The glow lingers like a final note of music suspended in air, refusing to fall, echoing in the chambers of eternity. And in that echo, you feel it. The same stillness that once surrounded the traveler. The same gentle gravity that sang through his bones. There is no fear now, no urgency, no boundary between what was and what is. Only a calm drift, a tender surrender to whatever lies beyond. The light dims further, becomes a thought, then a whisper, then nothing at all. But in that nothing, there is fullness. The universe exhales. The darkness folds the memory back into itself, not erasing it, but keeping it safe, like a lullaby remembered long after waking. You might think it has vanished, yet if you listen closely, not with your ears, but with whatever part of you still dreams, you can still hear it. A faint vibration, a hum, the smallest thread of melody weaving through the void. It is the sound of departure and of return, the sound of everything that ever was, still singing quietly somewhere, even when no one is there to hear. The last light flickers once more, a final heartbeat, then slips peacefully into the vastness. Silence follows, but the silence breathes, and within that breath, you feel it. A sense of motion, slow and infinite, as though the universe itself is falling asleep, and you are falling asleep with it, still drifting, still flying into the endless, luminous dream.